my mother, I think, was a star in her own way too, because after I came out to her, which I thought was a very successful time, I thought she'd be absolutely fine about me being a lesbian. But whenever I was talking to her, she would always refer back to people from what she thought was my straight life. So she'd ask me about people who she thought were straight, and she would change the subject if I was talking about my life, my lesbian life. And there was a period of time where I felt she was very depressed, and I wanted her to come and stay with me for a while, and she did, and I thought, well, you know, I've come out to you, I don't know, 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Now is the time you need to kind of start accepting me, really. So she stayed for a week. She'd been very, very low, and I said, come and stay with me, but, you know, I want you to come and hang out with me. And so she came to the lesbian discussion group, which I attended, and everybody made a huge fuss of her, you know, saying, how brilliant is it for you to be able to bring your mother, and lots of people brought her drinks afterwards and made a fuss of her, and she went to different places like the Drill Hall and the Bell and all these kind of lesbian hangouts, and I was really proud of her, and I felt, now you're really seeing who I am. And yeah, I was very proud of her, and I felt she got the picture of what lesbians are. She was talking in the drill bar to somebody who worked for the BBC World Service, and she said, oh, she's such a nice lady. Is she married? And I said, no, mother, she's not. She's a dyke. Everybody here is a lesbian. All those women here, everybody's lesbian. Kind of, you know, this is who we are. We're not people from The Killing of Sister George, for example, you know, that terrible film. So I think that was a dramatic changing point for her too.
Because we met each other a long time ago, and we had a relationship, but I never actually asked you what it was like for you moving from South London to the East London.
Well, it wasn't a big deal, really. First of all, I thought, good God, where on earth am I? You know, the end of the Victoria line at Walthamstow Central, this godforsaken place, miles from anywhere. But after that, you know, it was no big deal. That's where we lived together.
Did you see it differently? Did you feel that the community was any different from the people in South London, or did you notice any differences?
Didn't have much of a community in South London. My community is lesbian community, really, not geographical.
And most of that was sort of in central London. You'd have to go to places like Islington and around there for clubs and things, and certainly there wasn't a lot sort of in East London itself. I mean, there's a bit more now, or there'd be the odd pub that would do an odd evening session.
But for me, in the same way, for example, where you might get Muslim people who say, whatever country you happen to be born in is of no significance. What the significance is that you're all Muslim. You might happen to be born in Britain or Bangladesh or Saudi Arabia. It doesn't matter. You're all Muslim. For me, being lesbian doesn't matter if you're from South London or East London or not London or other places in the world. What the binding thing is
having
for
a
me
community.
Is having a community, being lesbian. So, for example, when we went to Sweden, we met women, total strangers, who took us in their car. We went to Gay Pride in Stockholm. We went to the women's centre there, and it's like, you know, when you travelled, you find where the lesbians hang out, and you go. So, like when I'm facilitating the discussion group at Gays the Word, every week there are different people. They can come from anywhere in the world, and they can be 17-year-olds who are just coming out, or they can be 60-year-old women who've been married all their life and coming out, and there they are, welcomed, give them lots of information, talk to them, go to the pub afterwards. You'll be there the next week. There's a kind of instant community, if you like.
And I think that's why not only is things like the Gays the Word discussion group really important, but once we lost the Lesbian and Gay Centre in London, it did make where do you go, because most of the kind of bars and clubs were in central London, and there was very little sort of in the outer parts of London, which made it could be quite isolating for people who either didn't have transport, couldn't afford it, or didn't know how to get into communities. And I think that's why, do you remember I started Dining Dykes a long time ago? And Dining Dykes was really about trying to get people in this, because I started it sort of from people I knew from work, mainly people who lived in sort of Hackney, this area, and they were just people that we would go out to dinner once a month, and it got bigger and bigger, the group got bigger and bigger by word of mouth, and we'd go out and you'd meet new people, we'd try to eat in different places, but it was a way of connecting people and having somewhere for people to sort of meet new people and not feel isolated, because there aren't that many, well, it's improved now because you've got things like internet and you've got all sorts of things, but before, you had time out, but it was harder. Yeah,
but even with the internet now, I think a lot of that is to do with dating, isn't it? Rather than no, I think so. Rather than
I hear rumour that's the case.
Rather than community, whereas something like
but in terms of finding out where things are going on, when and linking up.
Yeah, but what you were doing with Dining Dykes was making some community that was outside of that commercial club scene.
Yeah, where you could talk to people rather than just clubs and bars.
Exactly. And Hiking Dykes, for example, is a lesbian walking group that I've led walks for. But again, that's a thing. It's non-profit thing, and it's for women, for lesbians who like walking. And in fact, in London, I think we're incredibly blessed with all kinds of organisations.
Living outside of London, that's for sure.
All kinds of organisations. So there's, football teams if you play football. There's skating. There's dancing. There's
lots of dances. And now I run a group which is the Waltham Forest Lesbian Tea Group.
Yeah.
And
actually, it's Waltham Forest Lesbian Institute.
Yes.
We're called like Women's Institute.
And that kind of started off as I began to realise that there were quite a few lesbians living in Walthamstow in the east, and it was like, how can all these people be around but you don't know them? So we started up the tea group, and it started as a small group of people that I'd actually met through dancing. And when you're dancing, you go, where do you live? And they go, I live in Waltham Forest. And it's, do you? So do I. But I've never seen you before. So it kind of started as a word of mouth thing of people meeting on a Sunday afternoon for tea and cake. And it started as a very small thing. And then word of mouth got around. And now we meet once every 6 to 8 weeks. And we've got something like 65 people on the list. And it's growing. And you kind of think, where are all these people and where have they all been? And it's lovely because the word has spread and will hopefully carry on spreading. But it's really nice to meet new people, to link up, to feel a sense of community. And I think that group for me has given me much more of a sense of lesbian community here. Because I know that there are that person that lives around the corner, and you can pop into them in the way that I suppose heterosexual families have had the blessings to do, like neighbours and friends. So you've got your own. Or
maybe they do,
friends.
maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. I think that to me that sounds like a kind of rosy spectacled 50s idea. I don't know necessarily heterosexual. Sometimes I feel lesbian gay people have more of a sense of community than your standard straight people in the street.
Possibly, but but it's also nice to have that notion that I can go around the corner and have a cup of tea with somebody.
Yeah, of course it is.
And it's, you know, and that there are people that I know in the borough that you can ring up or contact or whatever to do something.
And we've got a lesbian reading group down at the local library, and we've got more than 20 people attending that too.
Yeah. So there really has been a growing sense of lesbian and gay community in this borough, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And much more sort of more visible events, like there was the dancing at Chingford Assembly. Was it a Christmas ball or something?
No, it was a Valentine's
ball.
It was a Valentine's ball, and I was very impressed with that, actually, that the local authority put that on.
And the local authority paid for something, a survey. So I think it's about acknowledging a community in our borough.
And it's a double thing, isn't it? Because the local authority, probably with all these cuts now, a lot of that stuff will be cut. But I think it's also stuff that we can do as a people.
We can sustain
like
it, can't we?
You know, with the tea group.
Because we don't need any money for that.
The reading group, you need very, very little for the reading group
so
as
we're
well.
managing on that. And I think that's, and I really enjoyed meeting the new people through having those links and those opportunities as well. You met some new friends.
Talking about spreading the word, remind us of Greenham Common.
We were just saying earlier, before all the technology of mobile phones and internet and whatever, there was this Embrace the Base event at Greenham Common. It was a December, and it was the early 80s. I can't remember when, 82 or 83. And based at Greenham Common were American cruise missiles. And there was a protest there for years, and there were camps, and there was a lesbian. There were different gates, different colour gates, red gate and yellow gate, and the lesbians were all I can't remember what colour gate, green gate, I don't know which colour gate, but anyway, lots and lots of women going there. I used to go.
Time ago.
Yeah, I used to go there. And this event was calling together enough women to be able to actually physically embrace the camp, which was several miles in perimeter, and on this particular day 10,000 women got there by chain letter. That's how we contacted each other. You got the letter and you sent it on to 10 more women, telling when to go and the time and what we were going to do and the purpose, and 10,000 women held hands and embraced the base at Greenham Common.
And I think it's interesting because we were having a long conversation the other day about how when we were younger we were much more politically active.
Yeah.
And it feels like younger women now don't have the same, it's not the same kind of political activism as I remember, or maybe I'm just getting older.